We're going to switch gears a little bit because it's been an exciting year, even though we didn't have any racing going on at Foot Locker. We had some racing going on and some people running some very fast times. And as we mentioned a few minutes ago, we are all set for 2021. Foot Locker will be the 42nd Foot Locker National Championship. We'll be back in beautiful San Diego. If you didn't see that photo or that live shot from the beach there, next year we're all going to be back there. We'll have our regionals, the three regionals, the Northeast, the South, and Midwest will be on Thanksgiving weekend once again. And then the West region will be the first week in December. And we will be back in San Diego. We have some ladies with us that have run that race just this last year and having some great years going on. Carrie, let me turn it over to you if I can.
Well, okay. Hey, ladies, how you doing? We're super excited to have.
Hello.
Hi. Our top two returners are here. So Abby, can you wave? Abby's here, and she was our 2019 Foot Locker third place finisher in 16:55. You guys, she ran the second fastest time ever as a sophomore behind Julia Stamps, who we had just a couple weeks ago. She's the fastest ever third placer, and only Starlipper's 16:46 is the fastest non-winning time. So Abby, we are so thankful to have you here. And we are excited to hear from you. How are you doing right now? If you can unmute yourself, we want to just hear how you're doing and how you're feeling about your race next year, hopefully at the Foot Locker Championships.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm super pumped for next year. It was really disappointing to not have Foot Locker this year because I really
enjoyed from Muskegon, Western Michigan Christian High School in Michigan. She's a returning Foot Locker.
Well, Abby, you broke up a little bit, but we're watching you here. Do you remember when we announce your names? Well, actually, Tim does it, but he reads off all your accolades and you're running down, slapping hands with world champions and Olympians and getting to that start line. What does that feel like?
It's terrifying. Seeing it now, like my heart just kind of races. It's crazy. That fact that I can have that wonderful opportunity, was like, I'm so thankful for that, and I forever will be, and I really just hope I get to go back there next year. Last year I was really nervous I wouldn't even make it there just because of my iron previously had really knocked me down. So the fact that I not only made it there but took first at Foot Locker Midwest was really such a huge blessing.
Well, you've had a nice cross country season this year already. So talk about your fitness right now.
Yeah, I was really happy. I PR'd this year at Allendale, which was nice, which was exciting, especially because that's a very, very curvy and just kind of like wet and heavy and grassy course. And yeah, and overall it's been going pretty good, but the whole season I have been struggling with injuries in like my left glute and hamstring area. So that's been hard. So I'd say like the whole season really I've been running more on pain, and like over summer I had to take off ever since after I ran in Arizona. After I raced the track meet there, I had to take off for a little bit. So that was hard.
Yeah, it is hard. Lots of those injuries, lots of iron issues, that's part of the game. But we're going to go on to Taylor. We're going to come back to you when we watch our video, but Taylor Ewert's here. Hi, Taylor.
Hi.
So
Hi,
Taylor,
how are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to see you. You were fourth in the 2018 Foot Locker Championships. You were sixth last year. You hold 7 American records for under 20 in the race walk. You're just a phenomenal race walker and runner. You're at the University of Arkansas right now, and you're voted the SEC Freshman of the Year. So you're having a great year.
A senior from Beaver Creek High School in Ohio. After having placed fourth here last year, she went on to win the Ohio State Indoor and Outdoor 3,200 meter championships. This year was her second consecutive state title in cross country. And just last week, she came within a second of winning the NXN title. She's off to Arkansas next year, third in our Midwest Regional. This is Taylor Ewert.
Competing this past year.
Oh my, a great race. She's going to finish in fourth. Ewert and Hutchins right there in 5 and 6.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to move on to Jenna because we want to watch you guys race fight. Jenna, congratulations.
This is the
15:34 yesterday, new national record. We're going to hear all about it, but you must be flying high this morning.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. I was just so grateful to have the opportunity to get to just have some races to compete at this season. Luckily, Tennessee's had a pretty normal season. We had our state meet, regionals, all that normal stuff. So I've just been really appreciative of that, and I'm super excited and really looking forward to Foot Locker next year.
Yeah, well, you were 5th last year, 9th in 2018. So next year will be your 3rd time coming back. And I think we have a little bit of your guys' race from last year that we can see right now.
Girls, go ahead and unmute yourself, and any comments you want to make as you watch the race, we'll certainly enjoy that as we go through. So Caitlin takes it out hard all the time, doesn't she?
Yes, that's definitely her racing style.
I honestly kind of like it though. I'm very much of a go out fast and hard too, and it's kind of nice.
You know, when we all get to Foot Locker as athletes, we all get to meet up at the hotel and we meet all these world champions, Olympians, and we go for a run with them. And then the day before we go and walk through the course and we see this famous course that everyone's talked about. You girls, when you got to put on your uniform race morning and line up on that start line and you became part of the Foot Locker family, what did it mean to you?
Just the Foot Locker experience to me is just unlike anything else, and it means more to me than any of the other meets I've ever competed in. Everyone just treats you like family there, and getting to meet with just all the professional athletes is just incredible, and it's just such a great learning opportunity and experience. And then too, getting to meet all of the other athletes there that we don't get to see during most of the normal part of the regular season is just, it's so special. It's my favorite meet of the year.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Jenna. It's just like, to me, because like, so honestly, like me, I never ever have anyone to train against, to compete against really. I mean, like just in Texas, that was the only race I've had competition the whole year. So like to go and race against other people is such a treat. And then like all these other runners who like, you look up and like, I mean, like, I have a ton of respect for all my fellow like runners and stuff, and like all of them, it's like, yeah, like I know they're wonderful runners, and it's so fun to be able to go and race against them and really like to just like to meet them, be like, yeah, like they're people like you, and it's just fun to know them and to talk to them. And I mean, like even like Riley Stewart, I made a pretty good friendship with her, and like now we still text and stuff, and it's just, yeah, I think Foot Locker is my favorite weekend of the whole year.
Taylor, being the oldest of these 3 and now in college, how did that experience help you to become the SEC Freshman of the Year?
Well, I mean, Foot Locker is a course like no other. It's definitely one that it is tough, and it's amazing being able to compete against the best and the best. And when it comes to college racing, there were times where I was in college races where I was able to remind myself that, I've competed in bigger meets. I've competed against girls like this lineup in Foot Locker that are super talented. And, being able to compete at such high level meets in high school that like Foot Locker offers is so helpful going into college, because it kind of gives you that experience of being able to handle, bigger meets and race against competition.
Yeah, only 39 other girls out there along with you, Taylor. I mean, that's pretty special. And, it can be frightening. We've talked about this in previous webinars, but when you're so good at what you've done, but everyone else on that line is so good, it really is a great practice for going forward.
It really is. And it's something to really enjoy. Like there's nothing else like Foot Locker out there. And just for the high schoolers, just enjoy that experience and take advantage of Foot Locker, because, in college, like you said, the races are going to be a lot bigger. Like 39 other girls out there is kind of something you don't really see a lot unless it's some type of final. And so you just have to go out there and really enjoy it and take advantage of it.
Yeah, but on the flip side, Jenna, like your race yesterday, you had a couple people around you. You had the light to chase after, but you were pretty much on your own that final mile to really push hard and to keep the clock in mind, and also to see how tough you really could be. So, how was your race yesterday, and how are your legs feeling today after running 15:34?
Yeah, I feel pretty good today. The the race last night was it was a lot of fun. We had a pacer for the first little bit of the race, and just having someone to look off of makes it just the effort feel so much less, and it really gave me something just to kind of dial in and focus on. So the first mile felt pretty relaxed, but after she dropped off and for the last 2/3 of the race, being on your own, it's just kind of a whole different experience. Trying to push yourself, not really have anything to exactly look at, can be a little tough. We did have the lights, like you mentioned, going around the outside of the track. So once I saw those come up beside of me, it was a great additional motivation to help keep me going and be able to look at those. But it is a little bit different than having an actual person right there beside of you. That last lap, luckily there was, Annie, who came in second in the race, was chasing me down pretty hard. So that was a nice push on the final lap. But just being on your own out there is a little bit different. But like I said earlier, I was just really grateful to have the opportunity to race, and it was a lot of fun.
Hey, Jenna, I was watching that race. I was wondering, when did you pass the light? And were you, I'm ahead of that now. I think it was 15:37 they were set at, right? When did you pass the light?
So
when did you finally catch it? Yeah.
It was actually kind of scary because I was ahead of it for a while. Then, like in the middle of the second mile, it started to pass me. So I was like, oh no, I can't let it pass me. So I just tried to stay even with it the best I could. It started to get a little bit ahead, so I had to be careful there. But that last lap, I was about even with it, so I knew I was right on pace. So I really had to pick it up there. So it probably wasn't until maybe less than 200 meters to go, I finally was able to pull ahead of it by a small margin.
That's so unusual to race the light there. Hey, you just said you were really relaxed the first lap. 4:56. Have you been training at that pace or faster than that to be able to run you were relaxed at 4:56. You look like you were cruising.
Yeah, I think some in-practice experience, along with just being a lot stronger from just the overall cross-country season, was really helpful. But I've been able to get in some good quality workouts. I like to do a lot of 1,000 and mile repeat type work. And I've been training mostly on the grass this season. So these last couple weeks, getting some basic track work in was a good help.
Well, we're watching the race here too. And Abby, you're in there right in third. Zofia Dudek, who's been on fire again this year, pushes to first. Abby, thoughts right now at this point of the race last year?
I was in a lot of pain going up that hill. Tell you that, it was hard. But I remember just thinking, I don't know, even just stay here. Just stay here, because I was gonna give it my all just to take the lead, but I kind of could tell that Zofia had it, and that Marley was coming up, that Marley was pretty strong. I guess then I was like, yeah, I just want to keep holding there, and I'm really bad at descending hills, and I had been working on that, so I was thinking I need to make sure to come down the hill hard, and then actually after I got down the bottom of the hill, I thought for sure Taylor was right on my butt. So I was going as hard as I could because I was very worried.
Yeah. Matt O'Brien has been writing in some awesome questions. I don't know if you guys can see the Q&A, but he's wondering about what it's like in normal races, you're by yourself, but then when you have these races where people are around you, what is that like? And Taylor, you were behind coming up here, closing the gap. So, walk us through that, what it's like to have all those people around you, but then to be closing the gap, which is something we don't have to do very often.
Yeah, it's definitely a change when you go from running a lot of races by yourself. It's definitely a different mentality. And, I was lucky enough that the Foot Locker Midwest Regional, we have, pretty good competition with Sophia and Abby and Caitlin Hart. So I was able to kind of get a good test run in my legs and make sure that I was feeling good going into Foot Locker Nationals. And it's definitely tough. It's my last race of the season, and I come off a pretty big race a week prior. But, I always try to go into a race with positive attitude, and, wherever you are in a race, just try to make the most of where I'm at and just kind of keep fighting to the end. And you'll get to see up here, Jenna got me right at the end, but it still was a great race, and I wouldn't have been, I'm just happy with the way my senior year ended for cross country season all the way. Yep. Good. Honestly, it's such good memories, and like good for Jenna for bringing it all the way in, because there's times in races where that could be the difference between you and a medal. And even if it's someone you have to fight for it.
Well, thank
Taylor,
you. Well, that last
ahead,
little bit, I remember it was such you were such a big push for me. So just coming down that final hill, you know, I was tracking behind you. I could barely see you in the distance. I was like, come on, I gotta hurry. But it was really great having you there, and just, you know, like we've all been saying, having, you know, just that competition around you as opposed to running alone is just such a different experience, and it really pushes you so much harder than you can just give like on a normal day.
I love that. You know, listening beforehand to all the guys talk about how, you know, we've followed each other's careers, we've become friends for a lifetime. We're excited for each other all the time. I know you girls are the same. Taylor, because you are now done with Foot Locker, and hopefully you'll come back as a captain or a coach one year, but can you talk about your goals in college here, but also for 2021, because you have, you know, you've made it known that you want to make that Olympic team, whether it's a race walk or on the track.
Yes, 2021 is definitely a big year. Obviously, the Olympics got postponed. So right now, Coach Harder and I are just, you know, just trying to be fluid with everything that's going on. And, you know, we're focusing on that goal of making it to the 2021 Olympics, of course, in the 20K race walk. And then also just to have a really good, you know, freshman year season with indoor and outdoor track. Obviously, you know, I'm under great coaching with him, and I'm just hoping that I can, you know, better some of my personal bests and just, you know, just finish off my freshman year strong. You know, freshman year can be a really tough transition, especially with just college and just a new environment. And right now I'm really happy with it, and I'm just hoping I can carry that into the new year.
We're rooting for you. Good luck.
All right, Taylor.
Thank you.
You've got the experience now. You're in college, and it looks like you and Coach Harder is a good match, and Arkansas seems to be a good place for you. So I imagine that Abby and Jenna have got a few phone calls coming their way. Jenna, I imagine every college coach in America is on the phone. Anyway, so what would you what advice for Jenna and Abby about choosing college now? What did you do well? What would you have done a little bit different? And why did we settle on Arkansas?
Well, you know, the college decision can definitely be tough. And I think it's really important to do your research, look into each program, reach out to the girls, try to find out, you know, what they like, what they don't like, because, you know, college is a time that it's a really big stepping stone in your career. And if you are serious about your running and you want to take it to the next level, you know, that's the time when, you know, you can go forward with that. And so I just hope that you guys just do the research, talk to the coaches, have a list of questions. Every time I talk to a coach, I made sure I had questions. And from there, I think the best way is to just start, you know, narrowing it down. And then for me personally, it came down to, I think, 3 schools.
It's the only way we could slow Taylor down.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, excellent. And here's a question. That one we're going to send out to Luciana Rodriguez, because that was kind of her question about running in college. But, you know, this is such a unique opportunity. 3 of you who have reached the highest levels of high school success for distance running. It's phenomenal how much you've all achieved. You've had to deal with some setbacks. Abby, you talked about being injured a bit here. So during this time, what's your advice when that happens? You guys all train on the edge. You can't run as fast as you've run without training on the edge. So you've all dealt with this. So Abby, you had to deal with that. Was it mentally difficult for you?
Yeah, it's definitely not fun. I do have to say that. I prayed about it a lot, and I try to focus on even that, like, God has a plan and he has a reason for this, and he's only making me stronger. And I also took it as an opportunity to cross train a lot more. Like, I did a lot of swimming, especially like because I live about 12 minutes from Fremont Lake, and so I would just go 20 minutes out, 20 minutes in. and I did more ellipticaling, more strength training, and I think that's a good way to go. And it made me realize that like I like to swim too. Like, hey, if someday I need to stop running, maybe I'll go swim, and like maybe I need a triathlon too or something. And I guess take your opportunities, but also try to look at the big picture.
Jenna,
I agree a lot with what Abby said, and I also just think for me personally, I think having like a positive attitude has always been really important. I think before, maybe in the past when I've been a little bit younger, I've kind of let just maybe the small things get in the way, or maybe make me, I guess, not as positive as I could have been. So I think this year, especially, when things haven't been going as planned with COVID, becoming a lot more flexible as an athlete, and then just overall as a person, and then just trying to keep that positive mental attitude really does have a big impact, and that's really helped me a lot.
We're going to send out a gift card to Mariah Judy. That was kind of her question. You want to deal with setbacks. Here's another one. Gilbert Olivas. Taylor, has race walking helped you in cross country running, do you think?
I definitely think it's had a positive impact on my cross country running. When I'm race walking, it's a lot of just endurance training, and I think when I'm race walking, it's building a big base for me aerobically. And so also I think it also kind of helps with my form, just because it kind of shortens up my stride a little bit. It helps me work on my arms. So when I'm going back into my running, it allows me to just have a little bit more of mental strength, have that aerobic base, and little tweaks in my form seem to be improved. So there's definitely positives on both ways. My running helps my race walking, and my race walking does help my running.
Outstanding. You become, as we mentioned, part of the family. I don't know if you noticed at the time, I'm sure you did when you crossed that finish line. Emma Coburn, how many times you cross the finish line, the world champion comes up and puts her arm around you. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So welcome to the family. So we're going to watch you. It'll be fun to watch you in the SEC and the Olympic trials, and hopefully the Olympic Games. My gosh, what a thrill that would be. You'll become one of the 90-plus Foot Locker athletes who have made the Olympic team. Before we leave, though, I'd just like to get a little bit. So in 2021, let's start with Abby. Abby, give us, the boys talked about, the men talked about such a importance of goals. What are your goals for 2021 for you?
Well, are you like including track in there too?
You got it. We're all part of the same sport. Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely say, because I ran a 10:02 in track just past June in Arizona, and it was really actually it almost was kind of frustrating to me, because I for the first lap stayed behind I think it was Lauren Ping and stuff, and our third lap was like an 82 or something. I remember just being really annoyed. So my first mile was like a 5:11, my second was like a 4:50. So my goal is to definitely break the 10:02 in there. I want and then I would like to break my mile time again too. And I for sure want to go back to Foot Locker. That's definitely on the list. And I would like to PR. I want to finish my season strong. I hope my injury heals up 100% so that doesn't annoy me anymore. And I'm pretty sure it will. And, yeah.
Jenna, how about you? Before we mentioned when the men were on, the American record for under junior, that was Molly Huddle, right? And Molly's a Foot Locker alum also. It's been a pretty good week for Foot Locker alum. Sophia was great at the AAU meet. And then Emily Sisson almost broke the American record in the half marathon, missed it by a second. That was one of Molly. So Molly's one for one, or 1-1 the last couple of weeks with records. But Jenna, what are your goals here for 2021?
Yeah, I think my goals overall, I just want to continue to improve and have fun and enjoy the sport for my senior year. For cross country, my goal ever since freshman year was to make it to Foot Locker. So that's always my #1 priority, just getting back there and getting to enjoy that experience. But then as far as on the track, I don't really have anything in particular right now. I think just to continue to improve and keep training and working hard and enjoying the process and just trying my best.
All right, Taylor, let's end with you. we're not going to send him a gift card, but Tracy Sunland is a friend of all of ours, is sending a question here. But race walking is certainly important in 2021 to you. And so how you fit that with your college plans as far as how you'll relate to the team and track and go to the trials? Well, what's the plan for that?
Well, I was really lucky that with the recruiting process, Harder was super open with my race walking. And so that's something that he's really excited to work with me. And with track, we're right now in the position that I probably won't be able to do any indoor race walking races just because of the current pandemic going on, obviously. But we're hoping to do a couple 20Ks out in the spring. And Coach Harder is really good with working with timelines and training. And luckily, the majority of my training is just all running and just getting some little bit of race walking in here and there to help taper me and get me ready for my race walk races. And then luckily, with the positioning of NCAAs, I'll be able to focus on the NCAAs outdoors and obviously indoors while getting ready for the Olympic trials without too much overlapping. But it's a big plan, and I know that Harder is already on it, and lots of thinking going into it, but it's all under control, and I'm just really excited to be running with Arkansas going into this year.
I love that. Big plans. All right. So we're going to be watching our alum. You're part of our family with Abby and Jenna and Carrie and the rest of them. So we'll be watching you and Jenna and Abby. We're so excited. We're going to be seeing you on the beach next year in San Diego. So here from yesterday, December 11th, 2021, the Foot Locker will be the 42nd year. And Abby and Jenna will be with us. Taylor will be with us in a couple of years as coach of the Midwest team, because as Carrie says, the Midwest wins everything. So we don't want to go down.
Yes, go Midwest.
Anymore. There you go. Carrie, we'll leave you with the last word there.
Oh, I'm just so excited for you girls. Thank you for being such a great representation of Foot Locker and of the U.S. You guys are in for the ride of your lives when you get to run and use your passion and your talent and your gifts. It's amazing. And as you get older, like I am, and if you have children or you're working and you are an entrepreneur and you use all these talents and these things you've learned from our sport, life just keeps getting better. So you have so much to look forward to, and just keep having fun, because you do get slower, just letting you know. So be as fast as you can while you can. And thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you for allowing us to come. I really enjoyed the opportunity to speak with you all, and I'm super excited for next year. And also, it's nice to see you, Abby and Taylor.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Taylor, Jenna, Abby, along with Emma Coburn, Jenny Simpson, Dina Castor. Boy, isn't it great to be in that group, ladies? Thank you so much for joining us.